Hare Krishna, Swapna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
How are you, Mataji?
Fine, Prabhuji.
How is your daughter?
Fine, Prabhuji. I was actually writing exams, so I didn't get time to join, and in between I had one marriage in my family. Ma Mardigarde pelli undindi, Prabhuji.
Okay.
So అందుక I took a gap. నా రౌండ్స్ కూడా రాసి పెట్టుకున్నాను, పెండింగ్ ఉన్నాను. మీ టెక్నికే ప్రభుజీ అది.
Yeah. Regular, of course, personal work, that's a different thing. But regular association is required, Krishna consciousness. So the more we associate, the more we get a inspiration and practice nicely. Personal work is okay, Mataji. Naakaina untai, meekaina untai. Right. So yes. Thank you for joining, Mataji. I'm just waiting for another 5 minutes, then we'll start. Okay, no?
Okay, Prabhuji. Let us wait for them. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you much.
Hari Manusha Jana Radha Krishna Manusha Radha Krishna Hari Vipale Jana Quereta. Pratina Janmi Quereta. Hari Hari Hare Jana Hari Hari Hare Rama Rajendra Rajendra Hina hina jale chila, hari na be uthari. Harasha ke jaga me mata. Aros Narada Toma bile ke aase ab Hari 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 Hari. Janama. Yadav Krishna, Yadukula Krishna. Yadav Krishna, Yadukula Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, for joining today. Somna Mataji, Radhika Mataji. Are you able to hear me clearly?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Radhika Mataji. Is it clear? Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam, Radhika Mataji. Are you there?
Dandavat Pranam, sorry.
Yes, yes. Yeah, it's okay. Thank you so much. So let us start with Mangalacharana prayers. Complete Mangalacharana prayers. Let us do. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshauranmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Utapadakammalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathamitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Dalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांता सुदे तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दिनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम् ओम अपवित्र पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्सङ्गतोऽपि वा यस्मरेत् पुण्डरीकाक्षं साभ्याभ्यन्तरं शुचिः श्री विष्णु श्री विष्णु Thank you, Sunil Prabhu, for joining. So thank you. Okay, let us start our readings. Let me share.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. We are at 12th theme. So let us discuss here. Swapna Mata, you join first, you read first.
Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, 12th theme. This is a 12th theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me do this. This is in the book, it is not clear, the painting. You can see the painting once. Now you can see. This is a Chinese letters. Okay, there's devotee, Yung Li, some Chen Yung Li, Madame Cheng Yung Li. So she's a He is the painter of these pictures. In this, did you find Krishna? Mana Swapna Mataji. In this is a Chinese letters. Are you seeing Krishna? In this?
I'm zooming. Yes, Prabhuji, you can see.
This is the Krishna. These are the Chinese, that language. Okay. Actually, Prabhupada composed these commentaries long back. Then after his departure, these devotees actually wanted to print this book with the paintings. And this is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 13, Autumn Season in Vrindavan. Okay, so let us continue reading and see. Yeah, now let me put this back. Yeah, you can read, Mother.
Well, the mountains, although being struck by torrents of rain during the rainy season, are not shaken, just as those whose hearts are dedicated to the transcendental personality of Godhead and never disturbed even when they are harassed by great misfortune.
Yeah, continue.
Because a person who is spiritually advanced accepts any adverse condition of life as the mercy of the Lord, he is completely eligible to enter into the spiritual kingdom. Even though a person takes to the devotional service of the Supreme Lord, he may sometimes become diseased, impoverished, and disappointed by life's events. A true devotee of the Lord always considers these sufferings to be due to past sinful activities, and thus he is not disturbed, patiently awaiting the supreme mercy of the Supreme Lord. Such devotees are compared to high mountains.
Yeah, continue, Mother. There are a few more lines. Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Am I audible, Prabhuji?
Yeah, somehow, maybe due to internet,
Okay.
voice were
Such
creeping.
devotees,
Now it's okay.
such devotees are compared to high mountains, which are never agitated in any way, even when struck by powerful torrents of rain in the rainy season. Rather, they remain humble in spiritual enlightenment, free of pride and envy. They easily gain the mercy of the Lord and go back to home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji,
Hare
can you
Krishna,
please scroll?
that's it. That is the theme. That's done.
Okay.
That is the one
Hare
thing. Thank you, Mataji. So basically, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is one particular verse talking about this description. So anybody remember that verse? Patiently waiting for Krishna's mercy, even though life's disturbances coming to in a devotee's life, but still is not bewildered, is patiently tolerates all the problems of life. That's where he is eligible to go back and back to your particular verse actually. The Radhika Mataji, any idea?
Prabhuji. No, Prabhuji, I don't remember.
Let me share that verse, particular verse. Bhagavatam. The complete paragraph, it connects to this verse. Yeah, it connects to this verse. Let me start sharing. Yes. Tattenu susamikshmano bhunjana evatmakritam vipakam Rudvagvapurabher vidadhan namaste Jivetayo mukti pade sadaya bhav. Beautiful verse. So Prabhupada frequently quotes also. Let me do one more time. Tattenu kampam susamikshmano bhunjana evatmakritam vipakam Rudvagvapurabher vidadhan namaste Jivetayo mukti pade sadaya bhav. Sunil Prabhu, can you read translation?
Yes, Prabhu. My dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds, and offering you respectful obeisances with his heart, words, and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim.
Yeah. My dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering. That is a very, very important word. Patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds and offering you respectful obeisances with his heart, words, and body. His heart, his word, his God and body. He is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. So this is what the devotees move. Oh, everything happens to me. Why Krishna is not showing mercy? That is not the feeling. Their feeling is no problem. Yes, I can suffer. Krishna want me to suffer like this. I can suffer. No problem. That is the mood. Because a person who is spiritually advanced accepts any adverse condition, because he is rightly situated in the spiritual platform, always remembering Krishna, never forgets Krishna. He is completely eligible to enter into the spiritual kingdom, right? Krishna is going to test us actually in every nook and corner, in every part of in every activity. Krishna is going to test us. Krishna in the form of Maya is going to test us actually. Mama Maya Duratya. Who said this? Krishna himself said, Mama Maya Duratya. Mama Maya Duratya. It's very difficult to overcome this Maya. Maya can be anything. Sensual gratification, lusty desires. That's nothing but sense gratifications. Mainly sense gratification. That sense gratification word is a lot of meanings. Sense gratification. Srila Prabhupada nicely put that word. Sense gratification. So that's the thing. So one who patiently suffers his misdeeds in previous verse, we see, right? He is completely eligible to enter in the spiritual kingdom. Even though a person takes the devotion service of the Supreme Lord, he may sometimes become diseased, impoverished, and disappointed by life's event. Anybody has experienced, right? Deceased, impoverished, disappointed by life's various events. A true devotee, that's a true devotee. Nothing but pure devotee. Pure devotee's consciousness is Kunti Maharani is the best example. She is always asking for sufferings, calamities, always, so that I am able to remember Krishna. If you don't give any calamities, how can I remember? So actually, Tatra Tatra Jagatu, there is one beautiful verse actually. Vipada Santu, there is one, I forgot actually. Repeatedly asking for sufferings to remember you, Lord. No, that's where. The sufferings to be due to past sinful activities and thus is not disturbed. Patiently awaiting the mercy. See the same verse, right? Patiently awaiting the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Such devotees are compared to high mountains, which are never agitated in any event when struck by powerful torrents of rain. That high mountains, Himalaya mountains, torrents of rains, torrents of powerful rains doesn't disturb. Rather, they remain humble in spiritual enlightenment. So this is a very important statement. Rather, they remain humble in spiritual enlightenment, free of pride and envy. They easily gain the mercy of the Lord and go back to home, back to the reborn. Thank you again, Swapna, for reading. Radhika Mataji, can you read this 13th one?
Prabhuji, I want to add to the previous one. So
Yes,
I was just hearing before I saw your message and I was hearing a lecture and from Tamil Vishnu Goswami Maharaj. And then he was in the, I think, Houston or Dallas temple. And he was saying that when I came in the morning, I saw only there were 4 or 5 people who were there doing chanting. And then he was talking about that if you say that you are more tired than I was, actually most tired for last 10-15 days, and so, but I still got up at 2:30 in the morning, and then I did my rounds, and then I went for the Mangalarti, and then 5 o'clock I studied, and then when I was waking up, the verse came to me that a yogi is someone who eats less and sleeps less. Okay.
Yes.
So the point over here that I want to connect, which really touched my heart, where he said that you are coming as a one circle. You have come as a one circle, or half a circle, I would say, that you have actually come. And when we are saying half a circle, that you know that material enjoyment is not there, or say that you are actually restraining yourself from material enjoyment, right? So that's the half circle. The other half you need to take it, which is basically that you need to suffer.
That's true.
For the Lord. And if you're not suffering and taking into account, oh, why do I get up? Why do I do service? Or why do I do this thing? I want to relax, or I want to do thing. So if you're not doing that, then you're actually not completing the full circle. And just connecting to this verse where the past misdeeds has been talked about, but this is actually talking about that in the current scheme of things, you need to suffer, or from your bodily standpoint, or from your sleep, or whatever, as a standpoint, or any other commitment standpoint, to gain that enjoyment in bhakti. Otherwise, yeah, you will always have various reasons not to do anything.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Actually, so you developed the Dallas community, Prabhuji, here in.
Yeah.
So wonderful devotee of, wonderful disciple of Srila Prabhupada. He died in an accident in 2002. All the
2005.
Yeah. Very, very much enlightened. Very nice devotees I have seen here in Dallas Temple, Prabhuji. Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. So nice. You're really.
His lectures are very, 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 like,
perfect.
It gives the blows to
yeah. It seems you got taste in hearing Maharaj, Tamal Krishna Maharaj. So good. Thank you for sharing. So that's the thing. So patiently suffering, patiently waiting, patiently waiting for this Krishna's mercy, even though a person in different sufferings. So Mataji asking one question: how can we practice tolerance? Best example is Prahlad Maharaj example. How he tolerate all the different problems with his father. He put into different conditions, but I always remember Krishna. Yeah, Krishna's mercy. How can we get that development? How can we get that quality? Patience, tolerance. How can we get that? By repeatedly, by always remember Krishna, by always associate with the devotees, take up the services, regular hearing, reading. See, according to karma, whatever we destined to get, definitely we can get it. Whether good things or bad things. Nobody escapes from the material laws of nature. Nobody escapes. But that law of karma can be changed. The karma can be changed by adopting the devotional principles. In the Bhagavad Gita, 5 topics, right? Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, Karma. Karma only the temporary. The temporary, that means we can able to change that karma. So here, how to practice this tolerance, Mataji? So basically, we repeatedly read, hear, associate with Krishna and his devotees. We develop that quality. It's not a overnight thing. That's the thing, Mataji. Okay? That's one of the quality a devotee. Satyam, Saucham, Tapa. Qualities of a devotee, proper devotee. This one, right? What is the best there? Third Sikshastakam prayer, third verse, right, Mataji? The mood of chanting Hare Krishna mantra.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Sunadapi Sunichena, Tarorapi Sahishna, Amanina Manadena Kirtana Sadaya. That is the best idea to follow this. So by doing so, we develop that quality. It's not about. Always be humble. They're in a good conditions or bad place of our life. Krishna's mercy. And that karma is going to change if repeatedly associate with Krishna and his teachings and associate with devotees. We develop these qualities. Okay, Mata, you can read now this one, 13th one.
Yes, Babaji, Hare Krishna. Done. In the rainy season, some of the roads are not frequently used and become covered with long grasses, and thus it becomes very difficult to see the road. Similarly, in this age, the transcendental scriptures are not properly studied by the Brahmanas. Being covered by the effects of time, the scriptures are practically lost, and it becomes very difficult to understand or follow them. A covered road is exactly like a Brahmana who is not accustomed to studying and practicing the reformatory practices of Vedic injunction. He becomes covered with the long grasses of illusion. In that condition, forgetful of his constitutional nature, he forgets his position of eternal servitorship to the Supreme Person, personality of Godhead. By being deviated by the seasonal overgrowth of long grasses created by Maya, a person identifies himself with illusory productions of nature and succumbs to illusion, forgetting his spiritual life. Hari Bol.
Very good. Thank you, Mata. Jivera Swarupai Krishnera Nityanas. Teachings by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jivera Swarupai Krishnera Nityanas. Our eternal position is servants of Krishna. That is, we forgetful actually. That's where this is the suffering is. Right? Prabhupada has given an example, and this painting also. You see the road covered with grass. That's why they won't be able to see the proper road. The illusion, illusory potency of Krishna. That's where we are not properly studied by the Brahmanas, and being covered by the effects of time, scriptures are practically lost and becomes very difficult to understand or follow them. The Prabhupada writes here, he becomes covered with the long grasses of illusion. Illusion is like this. Illusion. How can we understand that illusion? I am the controller. I am the proprietor. I am the master. And proprietorship, controllership, enjoyment, and master. That is an illusion. In the we have minute free will, and that is using for these things, enjoying material resources and forgetting about our exact relationship with Krishna. Eternal survivorship. Actually, he forgets. He means, it's a he or she, the living entity doesn't matter, like gender. So he forgets his position of eternal survivorship. He forgets his position of eternal survivorship to the Supreme Personality of God by being deviated by the seasonal overgrowth of long grasses created by Maya. Maya, a person identifies himself with illusory productions of nature and succumbs to illusion, forgetting his spiritual life. Simple to understand, actually. These are the coverings, right? Layers, different layers in our consciousness. In the heart, that's where, why Hare Krishna Mantra? This is teached by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. First verse of Sikshashtakam prayer. Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhava Maha Davagni Nirvapanam. Davagni means forest fire. And we don't know when it's lit up, fire lit up in the forest. And when it's continuous, when it's lit up, it's spread just like wildfire. Right? So these material desires are like that. But Cheto Darpana Marjanam, by Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtana. By doing regular chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that dust, the coverings in the heart, in the consciousness is going to clear down. Then we can establish our relationship with Krishna. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Satya Kabo Noi Shravanadi Suni Cheva Shravane Budai. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema. Actually, we all are living entities. The Krishna Prema is always there because we are all part and parcel of Krishna. Mamai Vamsha Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. We are all part and parcel of Krishna only. And that we are always have to be in the happy mood, Anandamaya Abhyasa. But due to come in contact with the illusory energy of Krishna, Maya, we never experience real happiness. Only temporary flickering happiness. but now we have an opportunity. How? By regularly hearing and chanting. By regularly hearing and chanting, we can establish our connection with Krishna and we go back home back. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Satya Kabunoi is always there. But how? Shuni Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Satya Kabunoi. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Satya Kabunoi. Shravanadi Suni Chaiva. Shravanadi Suni. By regularly hearing and chanting, we can establish our connection with Krishna. Last connection with Krishna. So when we are able to connect with Krishna, that's it. Our life becomes successful. We never lost actually. We never leave a moment. Yuga itam nimeshena. We feel that, feel these are the 8 Sikshashtakam prayers are realizations of a pure devotee. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't give any big scriptures. He only directed his disciples to write various pastimes of Krishna, Radha, different pastimes. But he himself is a great Pandita. That's why it's called Nimai Pandita. Nimai Pandita. Nimai Pandita is a very well-versed scholar. All in and out, he knows in and out about Vedic literature. But he has given nectar. He has given the nectar of instructions. He has given that Siksha Ashtakam, 8 instructions of complete understanding of devotional life. Siksha Ashtakam prayers. Every day we have to recite before chanting. Right? So let us continue. 14th one, you can read, Prabhu. Sunil Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. The lightning becomes unsteady in its friendship, failing to remain faithfully in any one of the clouds. Although they are the friends of the entire world, just as lusty women do not remain steady even in the company of men who possesses excellent qualities. During the rainy season, lightning appears in one group of clouds and then immediately in another group of clouds. This phenomena is compared to a lusty woman who does not fix her mind on one man. A cloud is compared to a qualified person because it pours rains and gives sustenance to many people. A man who is qualified similarly gives sustenance to many living creatures, such as family members or many workers in business. Unfortunately, his whole life can be disturbed by a wife who divorces him. When the husband is disturbed, the whole family is ruined, the children are dispersed, or the business is closed, and everything is affected. It is therefore recommended that a woman desiring to advance in Krishna consciousness peacefully live with her husband, and that the couple not separate under any condition. The husband and wife should control sex indulgence and concentrate their minds on Krishna consciousness so their life may be successful. After all, in the material world, a man requires a woman and a woman requires a man. When they are combined, they should live peacefully in Krishna consciousness and should not be restless like the lightning, flashing from one group of clouds to another.
Thank you, Prabhuji. You want to share anything by reading this?
No, Prabhu.
Yeah, so that's the thing, Prabhu.
It can be true. It is talking about women, but it can be also
Man also.
It can be true for man as well. So,
man only, yeah. Man,
yeah.
No difference, Prabhuji. No. Same desires.
More so, actually, I would say more so.
More so, yes. Man, woman. These desires are common, these desires are natural, but that's where regulative principles of devotion life. No illicit sex. No illicit sex. Sex is using for, Prabhupada writes this, sex is using for procreation, not for recreation. Recreation means enjoying senses. But enjoying senses is not good for devotion life. Right? How a person can go back to it unless he control these desires. So nicely written this one. Actually, this one, the lightning becomes unsteady in its friendship, failing to remain unfaithfully in any one of the clouds, although they are the friends of the entire world. Just as a lusty woman do not remain steady even in the company of men who possess excellent qualities. So, during the rainy season, lightning appears in one group of clouds and then immediately in another group of clouds. this phenomenon experience that lusty woman is not satisfied with one man, wanted to not only man, not only woman, man also. That's why illicit relations we see in the material world, right? In Telugu we say that akrama sambandham, not proper. So a cloud is compared to a qualified person because it pours rains and gives sustenance to many people. A man who is qualified similarly gives sustenance to many living entities. So that's where. So one point, just one thing. In Krishna consciousness, okay, this one, it is therefore recommended that a woman is desiring to advance in Krishna consciousness peacefully live with husband, that the couple not separate under any circumstance, should control their indulgence of concentrate their minds on Krishna consciousness. Their life may be successful. These words I'm hearing these days, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj is here in Dallas. He's having his treatment, skin disease and different other ailments he is undergoing. He is since last 1 month he is here in one of the devotees' place. In his lecture every day evening, he is giving Chaitanya Leelas classes, Chaitanya Bhagavata, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and then Sri Krishna book. He's giving some lectures every day evening, 30 to 45 minutes like that. Sometimes 1 hour if Maharaj feels good. So I'm hearing from his lectures this one, Paramahamsa Grihasthas. Paramahamsa Grihasthas means, who are not indulged in any other activities. Always chanting, always glorifying Krishna, serving Krishna, along with their professional duties, professional job responsibilities, whatever job. And Paramahamsa Grihasthas. Paramahamsa Grihasthas means not indulgence in all these sensual activities. Moderately maintain, eating, sleeping, and properly situated in Krishna consciousness and serving Krishna and Guru. That's why they are called Paramahamsa Grihasthas. So when they are combined, they should live peacefully in Krishna consciousness and should not be restless like the lightning. Lightning is not restless, means it cannot stay one time, right? Just like mind also cannot stay one time. Lightning is coming, going. Our minds are thinking different thoughts, flashing from one group of clouds to another. That's a flashing light. Okay. Again, so let us continue again. 3 of themes. Swapna Mataji, can you please read this one, 15th one?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
15th. In the midst of the thunder, in the cloudy sky.
Yeah. I'm not able to hear you, Mataji. Anybody? Same? Hare Krishna. Sunil Prabhu.
Yeah, not able to hear. Sure.
Swapna Mataji, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, is it audible now?
Now it's audible. You can read again.
Yes.
You can read now. Hare Krishna.
Its appearance. Am I audible, Prabhuji?
Now audible, Mataji. Sometimes it's feeble, but now we can read.
Okay. In the midst of the thunder, in the cloudy sky, there appears a rainbow that has no string. Its appearance is compared to an appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his servants in the midst of the material atmosphere. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
No, you can read this theme.
Yeah, the Sanskrit word guna means quality or mode, as well as string or rope. When a rainbow appears during the rainy season, it is observed to be like a bow and no guna or no string. Similarly, the appearance of the personality of Godhead or his transcendental servants has nothing to do with the qualitative modes of the material nature. The phenomenal appearance of the transcendence is free from the qualities of material nature, and thus it resembles a bow with no string. The Transcendental Supreme Lord is eternally the form of transcendental existence, knowledge, and bliss. The material energy works under his goodwill, and therefore he is never affected by the modes of the material nature. When he appears before us in the midst of the material interactions, he remains always unaffected, like a stringless rainbow. By his inconceivable energy, the Supreme Lord can appear and disappear like a rainbow, which appears and disappeared without being affected by the roaring thunder and the cloudy sky. The Lord is eternally the biggest of the big and the smallest of the small. The living beings, who are his parts and parcels, are the smallest of the all, and he is the biggest of the big as the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Shall I continue, Prabhuji?
No, this theme done. Thank you, Mataji. This theme is done. So how this material world works? Answer is here. How this material world works? Actually, how this material world is made up of? Triguna, right? What are the Trigunas? Trigunas, right? We are.
So 3 modes, right? So 3 modes of material nature.
What, Prabhu?
The 3 modes of material nature.
Yeah, 3 modes of material nature. Yes. 3 modes of
mode of ignorance, passion, and goodness.
Correct. Yes, Prabhu. Ropes. Those are the ropes binding a living entity. Right? So that's where how these binding things are happening. Mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. Sattva, Rajo, Tamaguna. String. Yes. So when a rainbow appears during the rainy season, it is observed to be like a bow and a no guna or string. Similarly, the appearance of the personality of God or the constant servants has nothing to do with the qualitative. That's the thing. Nothing to do with the qualitative modes of material nature. When Krishna's appearance. And beautiful verse. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvataha tyaktva deha punarjanma naiti mameti. So Arjuna. So if you understand Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's appearance, even though we are situated in this material world, I mean, our consciousness, our meditation, and all of our activities engaged in this devotional life, in devotional service to Krishna, that's it. We are situated beyond the 3 modes. We are going to situated beyond the 3 modes. This devotional life, this chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, and all hearing, remembering, all this Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, all are situated beyond the 3 modes. Because which directly connects to Krishna, and Krishna is beyond the 3 modes, right? It doesn't, so here, it's nothing to do with the quality modes of material nature with Krishna. And when we understand this point, Krishna Abhinnatvam Nama Namina, his holy name and the personality of Krishna, there is no difference. And the more we associate with the holy name, the more we associate with hearing, chanting, remembering, all these devotional activities, we in this material world also we can experience the liberated state of condition. We are not subjected to undergo any other things. Even though we are undergoing, it's easy to overcome because our consciousness be situated on the lotus feet of Krishna. Savai mana Krishna padara vindayo. Savai mana Krishna padara vindayo. So that's the beauty. So how can we escape? How can we get rid of these 3 modes of material nature? By adopting the principles of devotional life. Actually, 2 days back, I have heard one lecture, and it's in physical satsang. His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Swami Maharaj. And we all have, different levels of our life. Family life, social life, family life, social life, and then spiritual life. And beyond the spiritual life, there is a devotional life, direct to Krishna. Spirituality also there. What is that spirituality? That spirituality can demigod worship also spirituality. Other processes like meditation and different worshippers Also come to the spirituality, but devotional life, that is especially for Krishna. That is topmost. All this family life, social life, social life, spiritual life, and then beyond the spiritual life, devotional life. Devotional life is topmost. Beyond all these four, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, beyond all these 3. Yeah. I think, yes. Sapan Prabhu joined. Thank you for joining, Prabhuji. This is the thing. The Transcendental Supreme Lord is eternally the form of transcendental existence of knowledge and bliss. Satchidananda Vigraha, right? We all know. The soul's nature, qualitatively we are one with Krishna. That means Krishna's body also Satchidananda. Our body is also Satchidananda. Our spiritual body. Our spiritual body is Satchidananda. Transcendental existence, knowledge and bliss. This material energy works under his goodwill. Maya Dhyakshena Prakriti. And therefore is never affected by the modes of middle nature. Maya Dhyakshena Prakriti means he only created, right? He is the controller of the modes. He is beyond the modes. How can a person able to control unless he is situated beyond this? Right? So we are all under the modes, but Krishna is beyond the modes. The conditioned soul, especially, liberated souls or devotees are beyond the modes only. Conditioned soul, especially, under the modes of middle nature. When he appears before us in the midst of material interactions, he remains always unaffected, like a stingless rainbow. That's where Krishna didn't pass through engage, even though he looks like, he was there 125 years during the Dwapara time frame, 125 years on the earthly planets, but he still looks 16 years old by Navayabbanamcha. How? Because his body is spiritual body. It doesn't go through different stages and different changes of the body. He is inconceivable energy. The Supreme Lord can appear and disappear like a rainbow, which appears and disappears without being affected by the roaring thunder and the cloudy sky. The Lord is eternally biggest, the big, smallest of the small. The living beings who are his part and parcels are the smallest of the small, and he is the biggest of the big, as absolute truth. The Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's the thing. He is the master, we are controller. He is Vibhu, we are Anu. He is the Vibhu, very gigantic. Every sphere of life, his presence is there. Every part and parcel, every particle is there. That means, in this creation. He's big. He's a Vibhu. We are Anu. Okay. So another theme. So Sapan Prabhu, since you joined, can you please read?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
16th.
At night, by the grace of moonlight, the clouds in the sky can be seen moving, yet the moon itself appears to be moving, just as a living being appears to be moving because of false identification with matter. At night in the rainy season, the moving clouds reflecting the moonlight make the moon appear to be moving. This is called illusion. The spirit soul or the living being is the root of all activities of the material body. But because of illusion, the spirit soul remains covered by gross and subtle material bodies. Thus covered, the conditioned soul identifies with material body and thus becomes subject to the sense of false ego. This false ego obliges a living being to consider his material body to be his self, the offspring of the body to be his children, and the land of birth of the body to be an object of worship. Thus, the living being's conception of nationalism is another type of ignorance. Because of ignorance, a living being identifies himself with the land of his birth and moves with the misconceptions of national ideas. In fact, however, a living being does not belong to any nation or species of life. He has nothing to do with the body, as the moon has nothing to do with the moving clouds. The moon is far away from the clouds and is fixed in its own orbit, but illusion presents a scene in which the moon appears to be moving. A living being should not float with the misconception of the temporary body, but he must always know himself to be transcendental to the bodily identity. This is the path of knowledge, and complete knowledge fixes the living being in the orbit of spiritual activities. The spiritual living force is always active by nature. By illusion, his activities are wrongly directed in relation with the body. But in the liberated condition of complete knowledge, his activities are conducted in spiritual devotion. Liberation does not mean stopping activities. It means being purified of illusory activities and becoming transcendental to relations with the gross and subtle bodies. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yes. This last paragraph is very important. The spiritual living force is always active by nature. By illusion, his activities are wrongly directed in relation with the body. But in the liberated condition of complete knowledge, his activities are conducted in spiritual devotion. Liberation does not mean stopping activities. It means being purified of illusory activities and becoming transcendental to relations with the gross and subtle bodies. So that is a thing. So our spirit soul always pure. Body is impure. Right? Why body is impure? Because it is always changing. It is that's where illusory energy of Supreme Lord. These material elements created by Krishna. This body is made up of these material elements. It has to dissolve in the material elements only, the material element, right? After death of this body, soul, of course, always there. Soul travels along with subtle body, mind, intelligence, and false ego to occupy another body based on desires or based on the karma desires to get the another body. This body is going to dissolve in all these material nature. Bhumi Rapo Nalava has to dissolve. But whereas but in the liberated condition of complete knowledge, that means if a person works on the spiritual platform, the soul platform, his activities are conducted in spiritual devotion. Liberation does not mean stopping activities. No, not like that. The soul is always active and it has to be properly engaged. How we engage is the matters. Are we engaging in sensual or materialistic activities, or engaging devotional spiritual activities, which directs to Krishna? It means being purified of illusory activities and becoming transcendental relations with the gross and subtle bodies. Our subtle body is also temporary. Mind also temporary. Mind also is a material thing. Intelligence also is a material thing. False ego is also a material thing. Only soul is eternal. Our material intelligence also, our intelligence also is material. That means it's temporary. So nicely written. At night, by the grace of the moonlight, the clouds in the sky can be seen moving. Yet the moon itself appears to be moving, just as a living being appears to be moving because of false identification with the matter. Moving means changing the bodies, nothing but, right? One body to another body. 8,400,000 species. 8,400,000 species of life. Because of the desires. That's where it's an example is given. Rainy season, the moving clouds reflecting moonlight, that's the thing. Because of illusion, the spirit soul remains covered by the gross and subtle material bodies. Thus covered, the conditions of identities with the material body, thus become subject to sense of false ego. What is a false ego and true ego? Anybody? Anybody? What is a true ego? What is a false ego?
True ego is Prabhuji that we are servant of Krishna, and false ego is that I am Sunil. I am this God.
I am not servant of Krishna. And that is the thing. Same, in our education, we do two tables, right? Left side and right side. If you understand, what is false ego, what is true ego. True ego is I am servant of Krishna. False ego, I am not servant of Krishna. I am the master of everything. I am the controller of everything. I am the proprietor of everything. Identification with body. This body is eternal. This body is always there with me. Identification with the body. Identification with the designations. I am man, woman. I am African American. Like that. Different. I am CEO of the company, etc. These are the things on the material bodily platform. So false ego. This is the thing: controllership, proprietorship, enjoyership in wrong way. See, this is the thing. For Prabhupada, he has given definition. The false ego, what he's saying, false ego obliges a living being to consider his material body to be his self. Offspring of the body to be his children, land of birth of the body, object of worship, the living being conception of nationalism is another type of ignorance, etc. It comes all the misconceptions. That's the thing. A living being should not float with the misconception of the temporary body. He must always know himself. This is very important again. A living being should not float with the misconceptions of the temporary body. He must always know himself to be transcendental to the bodily identity. This is the path of knowledge. And the complete knowledge fixes the living being in the orbit of spiritual activities. That's why I identify Atato Brahmajigya. Two Vedanta Sutras teachings. Very, very important teachings. We frequently quote in our preaching. Prabhupada, we learn from Prabhupada. No? Prabhupada quotes frequently. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Human form of life is meant for self-realization. And Aham Brahmasmi. I am not this body. I am spirit soul. Aham Brahmasmi. I am not this body. I am spirit soul. That is the starting point of devotional life. So that's the thing. Okay. So let us continue. Another 10 minutes. Another two. Now, Swapna Mataji 2 times done. Tapan Prabhu 1 time done. Now, Radhika Mataji, you can do one more theme. And Sunil Prabhu 1 more theme. Then we can wrap up. 17th one. You can do. Radhika Mataji.
When the clouds appear in the sky, the peacock begins to dance in ecstasy, as a sincere soul becomes overwhelmed with joy on the appearance of a saint at his house. The duty of sages and saints is to go from door to door and thus enlighten the householders in spiritual knowledge. Householder life is compared to a dark well. In a dark well, the frog cannot see the free light of the open sky. The dark well of householder life kills the soul. One should therefore get out of it so that he may see the light of spiritual vision. Saints and sages mercifully try to uplift fallen souls from the dark well of householder life. An enlightened householder therefore takes pleasure in the appearance of such saints and sages at his house. The mind of the householder, who is a conditioned soul, is always disturbed by the threefold miseries of material life. Everyone wants to be happy in his householder life, but the laws of nature do not allow one to become happy in material existence, which is like a spontaneous forest fire. In the age of Kali, as described before, people in general no longer take pleasure in the presence of saints and sages, nor are they interested in spiritual enlightenment. The saints and sages, however, take all risks to propagate the message of Godhead. Lord Jesus Christ, Thakur, Haridas, Lord Nityanand Prabhu, and many such sages risked their life to propagate the message of Godhead. Self-realized saints and sages take such risk for the spiritual enlightenment of the people in general. They do not take vows of silence meant to win cheap glory from the ignorant mass of people. God is satisfied only when his devotees take all sorts of risks to propagate his glories. Such devotees are unafraid of the difficult journey to cross the ocean of nations. They are always anxious for the welfare of the fallen souls who are attached to the false enjoyment of materialistic life, in which they forget their eternal relation with God. It is the duty of the saints and sages to enlighten the fallen souls, and reciprocally, it is the duty of the householder to receive the saints and sages cordially, as the peacock dances in ecstasy at the presence of clouds in the sky. The fire of threefold miseries experienced by materialistic men can be extinguished only by the cloud of mercy of the saints and sages, who can pour down the water of transcendental messages to put an end to the miseries of the householders. Hari.
Thank you, Mataji. So two things we always say that Grihastha Gruhamedi. Okay. Grihastha means they center around Krishna. All of their activities center around Krishna, keeping Krishna in the center and perform their all activities. In the Grihastha life means one has to work, one has to maintain his family, one has to maintain his children, their education, their marriage, their well-being. It's a great responsibility, right? So there are more responsibilities there in the householder life compared to other ashramas, brahmachari, vanaprastha, and sannyasa. That's where grihastha life is very critical in devotion. And this is the wonderful ashram really take up the Krishna consciousness and perform bhakti situated in the Grihastha life. Krishna likes, many Grihastha examples in the Bhagavatam. Tala Maharaj is a Grihastha. Dhruva Maharaj is Grihastha. Kings, you see. Prithu Maharaj is Grihastha. Various personalities. So Grihastha life is topmost thing and compared because it supports all other ashramas, brahmachari, vanaprastha, and sannyasa ashrama. Because in the Grihastha only we go out for work, we get the money and we use, right? That's the thing. So Grihastha life and Gruha Medhi life, sense worthy. Most of the times, we see in the enjoying mode. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. That's it. Ahara nidra bhayam aidanam. So for this is one few things here. It is the greatest responsibility for the saints and sages. Because they have to, and in Grihastha also we have seen in our ISKCON, nicely situated in the Grihastha ashram and preaching. So many wonderful families I have seen in my Krishna conscious life so far. Everybody is an exemplar. I mean, they are doing their regular office work along with focusing on Krishna and all the devotional activities. Possible. It's possible. That's the thing. So, we see here, in the age of Kali, as described before, people in general no longer take pleasure in the presence of saints and sages, nor they are interested in spiritual enlightenment. Most of the times, materialists. The saints and sages, however, take all risks to propagate the message of Godhead. That's where this Maharaj is Paramamsa Grihasthas. See, the ISKCON is not only for deity worship, not only temple, prasadam. No, ISKCON primary responsibility of ISKCON is to preach. We are all part of preaching mission. To share and share this knowledge. First, we understand, apply it in our life, and share it with others. Different examples given, like Jesus Christ, Thakur, Haridasa, Nityananda Prabhu, to propagate the message of God. These are duty of the saints and sages. Can be situated in any ashram. A brahmachari can be able to preach. A grihastha can be able to preach. So a vanaprastha is able to preach. And the sannyasa ashram. Situated in an ashrama. This is a song. There is one song, beautiful song. Gruhe tako, vane tako, tadahari bole tako. Gruhe tako, vane tako, sadahari bole tako. Gai Gaura Madhura Sware. That's okay. So you can be situated in any ashram and distribute this knowledge. As a peacock dances in ecstasy at the presence of clouds in the sky, the fire of threefold miseries experienced in a materialistic man can be extinguished only by the cloud of mercy of the saints and sages who can pour down the water of transcendental messages. Nice description, right? A poetic description. The fire of threefold miseries experienced by materialistic men can be extinguished only by the cloud of mercy of the saints and the sages who can pour down the water of transcendental messages to put an end to the miseries of householders. Not only householders, in this context, householders are Gruha Medhis, not Grihasthas. We have to understand. Grihasthas are centered around Krishna. Everything centered around Krishna. So ISKCON is a preaching mission. A Grihastha can be able to preach. A brahmachari can be able to preach. A sannyasi can be able to preach. A vanaprastha ashram can be able to preach. Understand this knowledge, apply it in our life, and share it with others. With this, we will conclude. 18, this conclude. Okay. Sunil Prabhu, you can read and we can conclude.
Yes, sir. 18. Many plants and creepers that were almost dead during the months of April and May are now visible again in various forms. for they are nourished by their roots in the moist earth. These numberless plants and creepers resemble persons who dry up in severe penances for some material gain, but then achieve their objectives and become luxuriously fat, nourished by sense enjoyment. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that when the daytime of Brahma is over, the manifested creations of the universe all vanish, and after the end of Brahma's night, the creation is manifested again. Bhuta Bhuta Gramasa Evayam Bhutva Bhutva Praliyate Ratri Agame Vasapurtha Prabhavati Ahar Agame. Again and again, the day comes, and this host of beings is active. And again, the night falls, O Partha, and they are helplessly dissolved. Bhagavad Gita 8.19. Thus, the cosmic creation in its manifestation and non manifestation resembles the creepers and plants that appear during the rainy season and gradually vanish when the season is over. Even when the plants and creepers are no longer to be seen, their seed remains, and these dormant seeds fructify in contact with water. Similarly, the seed-like spiritual sparks, who are dominated by the desire to lord it over the material nature, exist in a dormant state after the cosmic manifestation is annihilated. And when the cosmic manifestation reappears, all the silent living beings within the womb of material nature come out and engage in sense enjoyment, thereby growing luxuriously fat. To attain liberation, one must be completely purified of perverted form of desire. A living being cannot snuff out desires, and to practice artificially erasing the actions of desire is more dangerous than the active desires themselves. All desires should be reformed and directed towards spiritual activities. Otherwise, those same desires will repeatedly manifest themselves in different varieties of material enjoyment, thus conditioning the living being perpetually in material bondage.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, desire is nature. Desire is always there, whether it's a material desire or spiritual desire. Desire is always there. But where we place our desire matters, either materialistic enjoyment or spiritual activities in the service of Krishna. Desire to serve, that is good thing. Desire to enjoy in the material nature is not good. So, a living being, this is a nice word, a living being cannot snuff out desires. And to practice artificially erasing the actions of desire is more dangerous than the active desires themselves. All desires should be reformed and directed towards spiritual activities. Otherwise, those same desires will repeatedly manifest themselves in different varieties of material enjoyment, thus conditioning the living being perpetually in material bondage. That's why again, the desire in the cause, right? Why we get the material birth? Why we get these different bodies? We wanted to have that way of enjoyment, desiring. That's a desire. Condition again. But the desires, if directs, reformed and directed towards it. Yeah, all desires should be reformed and directed towards spiritual activities. Otherwise, same desire will repeatedly manifest. And that means again we have to take birth. Take birth again. The seed-like spiritual fox who are dominated by the desire to lord it over material nature exists in a dormant state after the cosmic manifestation. The dormant, dominated by the desire to lord it over the material nature. Lord it over material nature is three things, four things: enjoyment, proprietorship, controllership, and mastership. That's called lord it over material nature. Yeah, with this I will conclude anyway. I'm reading one more time, 18. Many plants and creepers that were almost dead during the months of April and May are now visible again in various forms, for they are nourished by their roots in the moist soil. These numberless plants and creepers resemble persons who dry up in severe penances for some material gain, but then achieve their objectives and become luxuriously fat, nourished by sense enjoyment. So that is not perfect. Nourished by sense enjoyment means this is good. Nourished by spiritual sense enjoyment. Nourished by spiritual sense enjoyment. Hearing, reading, taking prasadam, So this word I have heard from this Maharaj, Bhakti Purushottam Swami Maharaj. Sense gratification is good. We also devotees doing sense gratification. How? When we go associate with devotees, we are hearing. The hearing propensity using in, that is our sense gratification, good sense gratification, hearing, associating with devotees, making friendship, sharing, caring, speaking about Supreme Lord, chanting along with them, kirtan we are doing in the group, in the satsang. That is good sense gratification. And ultimately, prasada. That is another perfect sense gratification. And of course, we have to eat properly, nicely. That's the thing. So, sense gratification and sense enjoyment. Sense gratification and sense enjoyments. Also, nice sense enjoyment in Krishna consciousness. Without sense enjoyment, this body won't be able to live. The same sense enjoyment using spiritual side is good. Like, regularly hearing, reading, all the knowledge acquiring senses using in Krishna's service, including mind. That is the best process. That is the best sense enjoyment. That's the best sense gratification. Okay. So, how many themes we completed now? 18, I think, right? 18. Yes. There are 44, I think. So we can continue. Anyway, Wednesday we'll connect from 19th theme. Okay. Thank you so much for joining. Sunil Prabhuji for encouragement, Radhika Mataji for your association, Sapan Prabhu for your association, and Swapna Mataji for your association. Thank you so much. We'll connect on Wednesday. Okay. Anybody have anything to share, or we can wrap up? Hare Krishna. Sapan Prabhu, Radhika Mataji, Sunil Prabhu. We are all on the same page. We are getting something from Srila Prabhupada's readings, small book readings. Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Sanjay Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Sapan Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Yes. Oh, anyway.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you so much. Anybody have anything? We can.
Nothing, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you for doing this so diligently.
Thank you for your encouragement. And by regularly coming, I'm able to get this, discipline to regularly read Srila Prabhupada. It's your mercy. Devotee's mercy. Okay. Thank you so much. Let us connect on Wednesday. Vancha patarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Reading ki jai. Nitai Gaur Hari Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Light of Bhagavata ki jai. Nitai Gaur Hari Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. See you all on Wednesday. Thank you so much. Yeah, have a happy Krishna conscious night. Think about Krishna. Fast time. Any nice pastime you can read and sleep. You get good sleep. Thank you. Hare Krishna.